Hi, Mike here, and welcome to episode number 2 of my Gibb River Road trip video series. I'm at Drysdale River Station at the moment and I'm about to leave. I just wanted to bring you up to speed with what the itinerary is with the rest of the trip. So I'm hoping to stay at a place called Ellenbrae tonight, and then travel on to Home Valley Station and stop in at whatever is on the way that's interesting and get some nice video footage of that. Now, I do want to just mention one thing before it pops up in the comments. Why have I not been to Mitchell Falls? Simple answer is because of the pets. It's a national park. You're not allowed to take dogs there. I hoped that I'd be able to do something about that. Maybe the campsite would be able to facilitate someone looking after the dog, i.e. one of my neighbours, or even the campground caretaker may have been up for it, but no. So I knew that was always going to be an issue, and even though it was a potential tick in the box to go up to Mitchell Falls, I'm not hugely disappointed that I can't go. It's just one of those things. Having Bronson and Gizmo with me makes up for the slight disappointment. And the same would apply for Bell Gorge and Winjana Gorge and Tunnel Creek. They're all national parks as well. I didn't go there on this trip. I have been there before, and if I can find them, I've got them on a hard drive somewhere, because I took them in 2014. I have photographs that I can put up just to show you guys what the place looks like. Very beautiful spots, but there's a lot of very beautiful spots along this road, so you know, again, not hugely disappointed that I didn't go on this trip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some footage of the road out of Drysdale back to Gibb River Road. That's the Cullenbaroo Road. Just because the conditions on that road, I would say, were in places were the worst conditions that I've come across on the Gibb River Road, especially on the road out of the area. If you imagine the road split in two, a left lane and a right lane, the left lane seemed to be better than the right lane being the one going south. So when I go down there, I'll be picking my lines and trying to stay off the horrible corrugations, but I will show you that in the video coming up. And I'm also hoping to get some aerial footage of me driving along the Gibb River Road with a drone as well. Please stay tuned, follow this video. There's going to be lots of interesting stuff in it, I dare say, and I'll catch up with you guys later. See you soon, guys. So I've just left Drysdale Station, and as you can see, the corrugations here are quite severe. Once I get my speed up, it'll probably be okay. It'll smooth them out a little bit. The truth is, the corrugations actually aren't that bad most of the way. It's just there's certain sections where the corrugations are pretty rough, and you can either try and go over them slowly and shake yourself to death, or try and go a little bit quicker, which smooths them out, but then you kind of run the risk of losing control of the vehicle if you go too fast over them. So you've got to find that sweet spot where it's tolerable but safe. So yeah, most of them aren't too bad. You see a big cloud ahead, there's a vehicle in front. They've just passed me while I was setting up the camera. So I'll slow down a little bit and let them get away from me a little bit, so that we've got clear road ahead. And we're gonna go through a water crossing very shortly, which is the Drysdale River. Yesterday there was quite a bit of water in there, so you'll get a nice big splash as I go through it. It was a really pleasant night last night at Drysdale Station. One thing I will say is be prepared for cool nights. It's very, very warm during the day. In fact, it's glorious. It's perfect. It's not too hot. Probably mid-30s, early to mid-30s. And but the temperature drops quite drastically in the evening. And I was beginning to believe that I might have been a bit overkill buying a really thick sleeping bag, but this last few nights has definitely paid off. Having that thicker sleeping bag, it has been quite cold in the mornings too. But the nights are beautiful. There's the stars in the sky that you see without the light pollution of the cities, and now the moon is, we've gone past the full moon now, and what moon there is doesn't come up till very late, so you can sit there in the evening with a beer and stare up at the night sky and see quite a few shooting stars. And I don't know what all the constellations are, but they're all visible. All the ones that you can see in the southern hemisphere, they're all visible. I keep trying to find Sagittarius, which is my star sign. But to be honest, there's that many stars up there, it's very difficult to discern which constellation's which. But then I'm not really trained in looking for them, so but it is beautiful. The sense of isolation, the sense of being remote is palpable. You can actually, you know that if you get into trouble up here, you're in a world of trouble. Yesterday I passed a couple coming up here who were towing a trailer, and they'd lost one of the U-bolts out of their suspension that holds the axle to the leaf spring, and the axle had spun round, not completely off, but it had spun enough for them to lose control of the vehicle, and they had to pull up and uncouple the trailer and try and go back and find this U-bolt that they'd lost and the mounting plate. Whether they did or not, I don't know. They said they were going to go back to Drysdale Station if they couldn't locate it and see if they could get fixed up with something to get them back on the road. So it definitely always pays to do your vehicle checks and trailer checks in the morning, you know, before you set off. That probably could have been prevented had someone had a look under the trailer and just checked to make sure all the key nuts and bolts were tight. It doesn't take much. You just stick your head under there. If it was loose, and it would have been loose because they weren't far from here, so they hadn't gone very far from Drysdale when they lost the U-bolt, it probably would have been apparent on inspection. So tip for the day is make sure you do your vehicle checks. I did mine this morning. I went round, checked the vehicle, did my tyres, checked my airbags on the suspension, make sure they were still holding the right pressure, and I had to put a little bit of air in the tyres, and I had to put a little bit of air in the airbags. These are the things that will catch you out. Potentially you could have a blowout on the road.
On the Gibb River. Here we go. Coming through. How's that?
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Is that perfect? How the animals enjoy it?
Yeah, they loved it. I'd normally go through a bit quicker, but I didn't want to splash it. Mike back again, and I'm here at Ellenbray Station, which is approximately 5 kilometres off the Gibb River Road. It's a beautiful little spot. I'll just show you around and give you a quick guided tour of the campground. Yeah, it's a very nice spot, so I'm very happy to be staying here tonight. So this is where I'm set up now. The sun's just setting. It's around 3:30. The further east you go, obviously the sun sets earlier and earlier in the day compared to Perth. So as we get closer to the Northern Territory border, the sun will obviously be setting earlier, and at some point, I think when you cross the Northern Territory border, you have to adjust your clocks. So anyway, this is the campground, and it's very nice. It's got a nice water hole, and I got some video of Bronson swimming. We both went for a swim. It was very nice. Not very far walk from the campground, actually. It's probably about 500 metre walk from the campground. This is the main facility here at the campground. It's shower block, toilets. They've got a donkey stove in there which provides all of the hot water for the showers. So the manager has just been along and fired it up, put some wood in there and got the fire burning in the donkey boiler so that there's hot water for everyone to have showers. And we've even got a boab tree right in the centre of the main amenities here. I'll just you got a boab tree there. The campground's very spacious. There's fire pits everywhere, so fires are allowed. So I'm going to have a nice fire tonight with a couple of beers and with my meal. I went to the homestead when I arrived, and Helen Bray has a reputation for making really great scones, so it'd be rude not to try one. So yeah, it was very nice. I'll put a photograph up of the scone that I had with cream and jam. Yes, it was very delicious. So I might even go back tomorrow and have another one. You got to allow yourself some indulgences in life, haven't you? So overall, I'm very, very impressed with how this campsite is laid out and the facilities. It's basic. There's no power, but with the sunlight that I've been getting, with the solar power, I've not needed to even fire up the generator. So yeah, I've not needed any power for the week. In fact, running the engine for a couple of hours each day driving, and then the solar power has been more than enough to keep my batteries at a manageable level. And yeah, the fridge and everything's been operating and no issues. And because the nights are colder or cooler, the fridge isn't working as hard during the night, so that's a good thing. So that's helping to maintain the charge of my batteries. So what I'll do is I'll have a look we'll take a walk into the main facility and have a look around. So this is the inside of the amenity block, and you can see that the donkey boiler takes pride of place in the centre of this shed, and they've got a fire in there now, and that fire heats the water inside that drum, which provides the water for the showers. And I even noticed when I went in there, they've even got a bath. You'd have to be game to want to have a bath, but yeah, no, it's pretty cool. You know, it's very rustic feeling, and I actually like that. I like that rustic feel. Unfortunately, it's very dark in here, so I can't do much about the light, but I think the lights do come on in here, where they must be set to come on when it goes dark. They have LED lights hanging up. Oh wait a minute, there's a light switch. Yeah, So there's a light switch, the lights come on, but I don't think it makes a big difference. Probably will do tonight. But yeah, it's very, very pleasant. It's got ivy growing all over it, climbing ivy all over it, which gives it that sort of rustic charm. Nice grassed area here. They obviously take a great deal of pride in keeping this place looking good. So yeah, it's very, very nice. So another thumbs up for Ellenbray. Up to now, I've got to say, I've been really, really impressed with all of the campsites I've stayed at. They've all been very, very good. Yeah, so no complaints at all on the campsite front. Okay, so I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be heading off to Holme Valley Station, which is about 100 k's east of here. It's probably one of the more commercial of the campsites along the Gibb River Road, but it's got a great bar there and a restaurant and a swimming pool. So I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow and give you some feedback about how my next day on the Gibb River Road has gone. Hi, Mike here. I'm just at a really spectacular lookout point on the way to Holme Valley Station, so I thought I'd share this with you guys. I'm going to put the drone up as well and try and get a really good piece of aerial footage of this place. But it's overlooking the Colburn Ranges, and I can just see off into the distance the Pentecost River. So I'll just turn the camera around and let you guys have a look. So you can see the Colburn Ranges there. I'm not sure if I'll zoom in a little bit. It's very hazy. There's a lot of dust in the air. There's been an awful lot of traffic on the road this morning. That's just amazing. I mean, to stand here and look out at this range of mountains is amazing. They're not necessarily mountains. They've through erosion they've been sort of rubbed down to nothing more than a huge range of flat mountains. But it's still spectacular nonetheless. And because the sun's over in that direction, you can make out the river. That's the Pentecost River there in the centre. And we're not that far now from Holme Valley Station. Remarkably, I've got mobile phone signal here as well, so I'm just going to check my emails and maybe post something on Facebook to let everyone know I'm alive. But there you are, that's the Colburn Ranges, or as some people say, Cockburn. I prefer Colburn, sounds a lot nicer. That's beautiful. And the valley there, you can see the valley. We're coming down now. We're coming down the hill, so we're about halfway down this hill where this lookout point is. It would have been a much nicer lookout point further up the hill, but there's a lot of trees up there. But the valley looks spectacular as well, very green. This is a major floodplain. There's a lot of water comes through here, and when it does, the Pentecost River bursts its banks, and you can't even get across here in the wet season. The water's that deep. So anyway, I'll put the drone up and we'll see if we can get some footage with the drone. English Nomad back again, and I'm just giving you an update of where I'm staying at the moment. I'm at Home Valley Station, which is very close to the Colburn Ranges. It's very close also to the end of the Gibb River Road, one of the last stations along the Gibb River Road where you can stay. So I'll just give you a quick look around so you can see what the place is like. I've stayed here before, so I am familiar with the place, and it is a very nice spot to stop. So I'd like to just give you a quick tour around, and you can decide for yourself. So I'm sorry guys, the sun's in front, I can't do anything about that, but on arriving at Home Valley Station, you're greeted by this lovely entrance with the boab trees and the name of the property on there, and then you drive up to the homestead, and the homestead is where they have the restaurant, the bar, the reception area to check in. There is a shop as well where you can purchase souvenirs of your trip along the Gibb River Road, and also souvenirs of your stay at Home Valley Station. There is a very nice amenity block with washing machines, washing lines, showers, toilets, hot water. There's drinking water available all around the campsite. There are sites for unpowered people who have solar power and independence of needing mains power, and there are powered sites. And it's a very nice campsite, very busy. It was very busy yesterday. I've stayed for 2 nights. I decided I wanted a day off, and today is my day off. One interesting thing I did find, which was last night, after the sun went down, there were hundreds of bats flying around. All these trees here attract the bats. There must be fruit on there that the bats like, or it's the insects that live in the trees. It's one of the two. I'm not really an expert on bats, but there was hundreds of bats flying around, and they were making a right cacophony of noise. But it was interesting to see. If you're into wildlife and you're into the sort of outdoorsy thing, then seeing hundreds and hundreds of bats is not something that you get to see every day, so it's definitely interesting. The station itself is run by an Aboriginal community corporation. It is a working station, so it's a cattle station, and you can do all kinds of different tours. There's horse riding, there's helicopter tours, there's a sunset tour where you get to see the Colburn Ranges at sunset from the lookout point, and a lot of the tours are operated by the Aboriginal elders, and they'll fill you in on the local Aboriginal folklore and the stories and some of the background of the area from an Aboriginal perspective. I personally haven't gone on any of the tours, but I've spoken to people who have, and they found them very fascinating. Also, something that's very fascinating is these bunch of people here that I've pulled in about an hour and a half ago. They're doing the Gibb River Road, or about to complete the Gibb River Road, on postie bikes. And these bikes are the same motorcycles that are used by the Australian Postal Service to deliver the mail. These are ex-postie bikes, and they do this challenge every year. These guys are doing it to raise money for charity. There's quite a large group of riders, and what they do is they cross the Gibb River Road, stopping at various locations along the way, and raise money for good causes. So I thought that was interesting. Bit of a challenge, to say the least, riding across the Gibb River Road on a small motorcycle like that, especially one that wasn't necessarily built for that job. So yeah, these guys are all getting showered up and getting refreshments, and they'll be here tonight. Probably leave early in the morning to finish off in Kununurra. The staff here, the management, have gone to a lot of effort to make the place really nice and really hospitable. There's lots of really nice gardens and plant life, and very welcoming. The food here is terrific. I had lunch there yesterday and I'm going to have dinner there tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Dusty's Bar has beer on tap, so you can get a nice cool beer out of the tap rather than cans and bottles. We have a few different beers on tap. They've got a very nice swimming pool. I'll just see if I can get a shot of the swimming pool. So that's the swimming pool area. Very nice. I'm going to go for a swim myself very shortly. So all in all, it's a very nice place, Holme Valley. Like I say, I've been here before, so I knew what to expect. Today is technically going to be my last full day on the Gibb River Road. Tomorrow I'll leave to complete the Gibb River Road and then head to Wyndham and then to Kununurra, where I'll probably stay tomorrow night. So I'll touch base with you guys tomorrow and fill you in on anything interesting. I have took some drone footage of the campsite, so I'll put that in the video now. And yeah, if you're considering doing the Gibb River Road, this is somewhere I would definitely recommend as a place to stop, especially at the end of your trip, because it's a great place to get nice hot showers, a really nice meal if you're sick of camp food, and cold beer on tap. Those three things are definitely worth coming here for.